Yo! Welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Multiplayer, the podcast by gamers for gamers. I am your host, Zach Matscanis, alongside the lover boy himself, Javier Ortiz. What up?
Yo, what's going on?
Yo. What's going on with your finger this week? You get a boo-boo?
What? Oh,
your finger.
It's just like, what are you talking about?
What's that lover boy been up to?
No,
He's been hurting his finger.
I am a nail biter. It's just I've always done it my whole life, and so yesterday I just bit a little too much and I started bleeding. So,
man, you're really going to town on the nails.
Yeah, it's not out of like anxiousness or nervousness. It's just a habit I've had since I was a little kid. I just always bite my nails. Yeah, it's a gross habit. I hate it, but
don't bite your nails when you're hungry. That's when you're gonna just really start bleeding.
I acquired the taste for human flesh yesterday, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Disgusting. And of course, everybody, Multiplayer is all over the place, in your ears and in your face. You can find us at youtube.com/multiplayered. That's a fun place where you can see our ugly mugs while we're doing things. You can see Hav's disgusting finger and his Band-Aid. What is that? It's like a little green.
It's just like a
white.
Like, I don't know.
It's a weird Band-Aid.
Yeah, I don't. It's green and blue. I don't know. It's
great.
Fun.
So if you want to check that Band-Aid out, go to youtube.com/multiplayer. You can also check us out on podcast services everywhere. Just pick a podcast service. Whatever you like, look for Multiplayer. Don't forget that ED on the end. We will be there. Of course, we're on Instagram at GoMultiplayer. You can follow us there as well, where we post not pictures of Hav's Band-Aid, but
definitely not
things.
that.
And of course, our podcast episodes go up every Wednesday. I always forget to say that at the top of the show for some reason. I don't know what that's about. I just always forget to mention, hey, these go live on Wednesdays.
You mentioned it this week, so.
I mentioned it this week. I've been trying to remind myself mentally to say it, and a lot of times I just forget for some reason. I don't know. So keep me honest, Hav. If I don't say it, you like, hey, you idiot.
Yeah.
Make sure you.
I'll back you up. Don't worry.
Just say, hey, every Wednesday. That's when this show goes live, and sometimes, every now and again, we like to do the little Instagram live videos Sundays or Mondays, whenever we're recording this. Look out around noon. You might just see our ugly mugs on Instagram live, but not this week.
Yep, not this time.
Figured we'd take the Easter holiday off for Instagram
happy
Live.
Easter. What's your favorite rabbit game?
Favorite rabbit game? I don't know if I have a favorite rabbit game. I will say I hate that stupid rabbit in Mario 64 that takes your. Oh no, that's a monkey.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking that was a rabbit for a minute. What's a game with a rabbit in it?
Bucky O'Hare, the arcade game. Bucky O'Hare and you remember that one?
No, I'm trying to picture it, and I can't.
He's like a green space rabbit.
Green space rabbit.
Yeah.
I say. I don't know. I guess.
I forget the name of his game though. I think it's just called Bucky O'Hare.
Yeah. There's also that character Cream and
the Sonic
and the Sonic Adventure games. I don't think you ever play as her. I think she's just kind of around.
You do in Sonic Heroes.
Do you?
Yep.
You can play as her in Sonic Heroes? I thought that was just Tails, Knuckles, and the Blue Boy himself.
No, they have different teams, and one of the teams is Amy, Rose, Cream, and Big Cat.
It seems like a terrible team.
Yeah, it's the loser squad for sure, but they're there.
I mean, mostly because of Big the cat. What's that man up to?
That whole game, he's looking for a stupid frog, and the whole game he's just like, Froggy, where are you? It's like, oh, I hate you.
Okay, so we'll start the show with some nonsense, and we'll get into some real stuff. But Big the cat, how do you? Okay, if you're sitting in the boardroom at at Sonic Team, okay, we got to make our new game and our next Sonic game. Is there any new ideas anybody wants to pitch? Yeah, I've got one. You know how like people love going fast in Sonic games? Well, what if they didn't do that? What if you're like fishing or like, just you're just a big fat cat guy and you suck.
You know how the whole game's about speed? What if we make a character and his favorite thing to do is one of the slowest pastimes for human civilization with fishing? And he's just a big fat cat that likes to fish. It's like, get this man a raise. This is brilliant.
Have we not thought of this sooner? A game about going fast, and we'll do the exact opposite. Maybe we'll put in a character where you play like croquet or something.
I think they were just looking, because that's probably the most normal animal they have out of their cast with a cat. Everyone else are just hedgehogs, echidnas. You got a weird bat lady with rouge, and I think there's some birds, but
some birds.
You got some
Cream the bunny.
Oh yeah, she's a rabbit. Yeah, I forgot about her. But even she's weird. Like she's cat. The cat is the one that was like, how do we not have like a normal domesticated animal? We got a bunch of weird animals.
And then you got chows, which are like aliens or something. I don't know what's going on there.
Little blue things.
Yeah, well, it's a nonsense world. And then there's humans.
Oh yeah,
so it's just like,
and they all coexist.
I guess I don't. That's a weird world there. I don't know what's going on.
By the way, the arcade game is called Bucky O'Hare. It's an arcade game from 1992 produced by Konami.
What do you do in it?
It's like a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, and you play as Bucky O'Hare, who's like this space rabbit, and he's got like it's kind of like a weird Star Fox team. It's him and a bunch of other like anthropomorphic animals, and you're just like fighting bad guys. I think they're frogs or something that you're fighting. I forget, but yeah. Fun fact: that is the first and only arcade game I have ever beaten, like start to finish. I started it one day and I finished it.
Really?
Yep. I played it because when I was a kid, we used to go to Chuck E. Cheese for my birthday, and one birthday I saw that arcade cabinet, and it was at my party at Chuck E. Cheese, and I went straight to it and I played it, and I did not stop for my entire birthday party, and I finished it, and I was very proud.
Nice.
I was very, very proud.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've beaten like Turtles in Time and the Simpsons game and stuff like that. I feel like maybe I beat House of the Dead in the arcade after like $30.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's an expensive game.
Yeah, I don't know, but arcades.
Rabbit games.
That's not a thing anymore. Rabbit game. We didn't mention the best rabbit of all time, which is Peppy Hare. That man.
Peppy Hare?
Yeah, Star Fox.
Yeah. That's stupid. Yeah.
That's stupid
rabbit. I don't really like the cast of Star Fox outside of like him and Falco. I like Falco. I don't really like.
Yeah, Falco's.
I don't like the others though.
Like Slippy and Peppy.
No, I don't.
Peppy's great.
I hate Slippy.
He's an old wise bunny man.
Yeah, but it's like, what are you doing in space?
What are any of them doing? A bunch of forest animals with flying ships.
But the game's called Star Fox, so I expect him. Falco's just cool. He's got the cool factor. The others are just like, what are you doing here? I don't like you guys. Go away.
Oh man! All right. Anyways, let's get to the show. We've been chatting way too long already.
Rabbit talk.
Rabbit talk here on Multiplayer. I think we have a good show today, Hav. I mean, we have a good show every time. I think.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's a pretty interesting one. I want to talk a little bit about old games that cost a lot of money to buy. That's always a good one. I love, obviously, we're a fan of collectibles on this show, so let's talk a little bit about collectibles. But then I want to get into kind of digital games and how, and kind of talk about like video game preservation a little. And then, a little topic I want to get into about like spin-off games a little later in the show before we quiz you.
Oh yeah, because we missed it last week.
We did. I love that segment, so I'm gonna hit you with some harder
Nice.
ones this week if we have the time. So let's jump right into this, Hav. So some interesting news. Let me just pull up this article from Polygon because I thought they did a pretty good job on covering it. But there was a Super Mario Brothers, the original game for the NES.
Very common game.
There was
not too rare.
Very common game. You could find one for probably $1 at Goodwill or your local yard sale.
Yep.
Pretty much every house will have a copy of that game, probably /Duck Hunt.
Yep.
Because that's, when it kind of hit the States, there was, for the first couple of years, I think it was the first 2 years, Mario Brothers, like Super Mario Brothers, wasn't a game that was out, But eventually, that came out and started selling like hotcakes, and then they started releasing these NES, consoles with a copy of the game.
A bundle, if you will.
Yeah, it's a bundle. So, so basically, like everybody's played. I'd say most people have played Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
If you've played video games, you've probably have played Super Mario Brothers
For sure.
But there was a sealed NES copy of Super Mario Brothers in like crazy good condition that just sold for a whopping $660,000.
Man, that's more than I'll make
Wild
in a really long time.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and basically just like broke the record for the highest price video game at this auction house. So just to kind of put this in perspective, so Heritage Auctions, which is kind of what a lot of like video game stuff kind of goes through as far as like auctioning goes. So the previous record holder was the Nintendo PlayStation prototype, if you remember that from a couple years ago, which is a pretty cool little piece of history that I would love to own.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's one of a kind.
Exactly. So that sold through Heritage Auctions. I guess that was last year. I thought it was like 2 years ago.
No.
Time kind of flies.
Yeah.
Or stands still. I don't know how time works anymore.
Kind of all feels the same this past year.
But it's it's been a little crazy. But that sold for $360,000.
And that's interesting because that's like its own like console, one of a kind. It wasn't mass produced. Like that's truly unique.
Yeah, literally a prototype.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't find that. Like that's just something that like there's the one that exists, and that's it. The end. And that only sold for $360,000. So
it's nuts.
the fact that
half.
Yeah, the fact that. Yeah, literally, it's like 300,000 less. It's just kind of crazy. Like this pretty common game, probably might even be the most common game of all time, just sold for $660,000. To mention a couple others here, so it's 4 times the previous record holder for a video game, which is a copy of Super Mario Brothers 3. That sold for $156,000 in November of 2020.
I remember that one too.
And before that, there was the previous world record for a copy of Super Mario Brothers. The first game again. That was $114,000 in July of 2020. So,
wow.
So I'm going to read this right off of Polygon just because this, I think they did a pretty good job here. So what made this copy of Super Mario Brothers a widely available game released in 1985? What made it so special? Well, it was a factory sealed for one thing and rated 9.6 by Iwata, which is a video game collectible grading company. This copy still has its retail hang tab attached, which basically
it's huge
for people that so back in the day these games they would come in like for the youngins listening, games used to come in just like cardboard boxes. Think about even like the later games like N64 games and stuff. They all came in like a cardboard box, and inside that box you'd have like your cartridge, your game cartridge, and a manual, and probably like a couple other like pieces of paper. They all came in a cardboard box, and then all that would be like shrink wrapped essentially. And then on top of the shrink wrap, you would have these little plastic hang tabs, which you've probably seen for controllers, for instance. Like if you go to like a GameStop or a Target and you're buying a controller, chances are it's like hanging on like a little hang tab hook. And video games used to be like that. Now it's a lot of times all the video games are behind like plastic cases and stuff where it's just sitting on a shelf. But back in the day, a lot of these, they would still be in like a plastic case, typically behind like in like a video game section of like a KB Toys or something. You'd have like the video game section, like cashier's desk, and behind that would be all the games like hanging on like little pull tabs,
like this thing.
At least like oh yeah, exactly. That's a hang tab.
Yeah. So I'm just showing for the
thing,
audio
like,
listeners just a PlayStation box, and it has a little plastic hang tab that you see it just hang on like a shelf at Target.
Yeah, and it's those things like obviously as soon as you took the everything out of the shrink wrap, the hang tab would basically go with it, because it's not like connected to the physical box. It's just a little sticky hang tab you'd stick on there.
Yep.
And a lot of times, places like Toys R Us, KB Toys, wherever you're getting video games, a lot of times they would even put stickers and stuff on the outside of the shrink wrap, which this doesn't seem to have any of that, which is pretty rad.
Yeah, for sure.
And then kind of last thing here, this copy still has its retail hang tab attached. The box does not have a trademark symbol and is part of an extremely low print run, which I thought that part was kind of cool. And this is here's the item description from Heritage Auctions listing. Quote, not only is this the finest plastic sealed copy with a perforated cardboard hang tab we've ever offered from any black box title, which black box is that's like the kind of the original runs of some of these old NES games. They would come in these black box kind of cardboard.
I always thought they looked really cool.
Yeah, I mean they look rad, man. I wish Nintendo would come out with like a new black box, like set of like like best Nintendo Switch games, and it's like black box copies. Would be kind of cool. Finishing this up, it is also the oldest sealed copy of Super Mario Brothers we've ever had the opportunity to offer. This is only the 4th version of Super Mario Brothers ever produced, and its window of production was remarkably short. Just to paint a better picture of how short this really was, the nationwide release for the console came in mid to late 1986, and black box games distributed for that release did not have the Game Pack NES GP code. It's worth mentioning that Nintendo managed to add the trademark symbol to the Nintendo Entertainment System on their game boxes by the beginning of 1987. That certainly doesn't leave much time at all for this variant to be produced in between the two. So that's kind of the just to kind of paint a picture there, it's just this was basically like sometime between like late 1986 and 1987, this like very specific version of like this box came out that didn't have this like Nintendo trademark on it. So I thought that was like pretty darn cool. I mean, it's like I just love like video game collectibles and just like video game history, and this is like such a cool piece of history that it's crazy this thing was found.
For sure. It makes me wonder like what other like hidden gems are are hidden in these old warehouses, like these old Nintendo warehouses, like across the world in like America or Japan or China and stuff. Like, always makes me wonder what else can be found if you do enough digging, you know?
Yeah.
Because I always imagine it like,
and
you remember the end of Indiana Jones where they're like, it's being taken care of by like top men, and it's just this warehouse full of these crates and stuff. It's like, I always imagine it's something like that. It's like you just have to go digging. It's like, oh yeah, here's a bunch of like old N64s or like Super Nintendos, and then all of a sudden you find like the one where it's like, wait a minute, this one doesn't have like a trademark on it. What's up with that?
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of how it goes. You know, a lot of times they find this stuff in like weird places. You know, it's like for like this Mario Bros, for instance. I don't have the exact quote right in front of me, but I did read it. This was basically they found this in a drawer, like just a desk drawer.
That's nuts.
Just a regular,
that's crazy.
just desk drawer. Where this game was given to somebody for Christmas, and then they just put it in a desk drawer and then forgot about it for like 30 years.
Man,
it's just like,
that's nuts.
That's insane. So imagine like if you're a kid and you got like a video game for Christmas, you know, back in like the late 80s, and then if you had just not opened that game and just put it in a drawer for like 30 years, you could be, you know,
almost
a
millionaire
at the very least.
Damn, that's
like
nuts.
You could straight up just, that one game you got when you were a kid, if you had just like not played it, you could buy a house right now.
That's insane, man. It's like, it makes me think about like when I was younger, because it's always disgusting for me to think about, but like when I was younger and like Super Nintendo games and N64 games, like back then people didn't like save boxes, and so like I would open them and my parents were just like, all right, garbage. And you know, it's like, now you think about it, it's like, oh my god, you imagine like because I like my Super Nintendo library, it's not huge, but I've got a decent amount of games. It's like, imagine if I had all those games with their boxes, like all original packaging and like all the original manuals and all that stuff. Like, oh my god, it'd be worth so much money.
Yeah, you know, I obviously, like, you see my collection behind me. You know, for the you know, video people out there, you know, this is it's a collection I've been kind of you know, I've been collecting stuff for probably 25-ish years, you know, maybe a little longer than that. And you know, for the audio listeners, go check out the video, because I got a bunch of crazy stuff behind me. But yeah, I mean, I've been collecting since I was like a wee lad. I still have my original copy of Mega Man 2 for the NES. Like when I was a kid, you know, like our house had an NES, and then eventually my mom was like, well, you know, I have two older brothers, and it was basically kind of theirs, and my mom was like, well, they're not playing it anymore, I'm selling it in a yard sale. And I was like, no, Mega Man 2, no. And like I just hung on to that, knowing one day I would get an NES again and be able to play it. So that's like the oldest thing I have that like I had when I was like a kid. I was like 4 years old with this like Mega Man 2 copy. Like one day I'll be able to play this again.
Nice.
And you know, I've kind of been collecting ever since, but you know, there's a lot of stuff I got when I was a kid that you know, I didn't hang on to the boxes and stuff. You know, like my Donkey Kong Country 2. I wish I still had that box, or like my Mega Man Xbox and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I wish I kept all that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just one of those things I didn't really think about till I was like a little bit older. You know, even in like the N64 days, you know, I wasn't keeping my boxes. You know, obviously I have all my original games and stuff. I've never to this day have like sold a video game or like a console, you know, of my own free will.
Right.
You know, as I've kept it all, and you know, I have a pretty decent collection now, but I you know, man, I wish I still had my original boxes.
That's
for
one thing.
A lot of this stuff.
That's one thing I really appreciated about the original PlayStation, was that when you bought games, you know, since it was a CD, it came in a case, and it only made sense to keep the case, because where else are you going to put a CD disc? You can't just have it lying around. It'll get dirty or smudged, or, you know, it'll get broken, you know, and that's something I love about the PlayStation that it introduced me to, is like, here is a really nice little case, and it's also a place to keep your game. Whereas like, Nintendo with all the cartridges, Game Boy as well, like, and it's not like I didn't think about this stuff when I was like 6 or 7 years old, but like when I would take it out the box, my parents would be like, all right, cool, we'll throw this out and you can, you'll keep those in a drawer and those would be the games. But it's like,
yeah,
it just makes so much more sense to have a built-in case that comes with your item, so you can a little better to preserve your stuff and for like a collectible mindset. But man, it's like, man, I wish Nintendo had done that, like something to be like, and here's a thing that you can keep the cartridge in, so keep it nice and stored and safe and secure,
Yeah. Well, you gotta, it's one of those things where at the time people didn't really think about video games like that.
Oh no,
as
yeah,
like
for
something
sure.
that eventually would be like now everything's like, oh, here a new video game's coming out, like the next Uncharted. Here's the collector's edition.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's like a collector's mentality to video games that wasn't there back in the day. It's kind of like, imagine like Star Wars toys from like the 70s or like even like G.I. Joes and stuff. It's
Sure.
like nobody thought about collecting, Star Wars toys in the 70s. It just like that wasn't a mindset. So that's why it's like some of that stuff just goes for mad money nowadays because everybody just took their toys out of the box and threw the boxes away and took their G.I. Joe and stuck it in the garbage disposal
really?
or like whatever, it's like
yeah or painted
whatever
on it with crayons and colored them and like
yeah, exactly. I used to like my sisters had like Barbies and stuff, and I'd take scissors and like cut their hair off and stuff, and like, give them like a buzz cut. It's just like it's like stupid kids being stupid kids. So it's like you do stupid things, and so it's like with video games when video games were kind of in its infancy, like nobody really thought about the fact that this stuff would be highly collectible one day, and that's why it's collectible now. A lot of things, which by the way, like Uncharted 4 collector's edition or whatever is like out there nowadays, like none of that stuff's actually collectible.
Yeah, whenever they
the collector's edition.
Yeah, when they slap the tag collector's edition on it, it's not. That doesn't mean it's going to be super valuable going forward.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like for the people out there who just like love that stuff, which I do, and I have a lot of like,
oh yeah, for sure, because it's still super cool to have.
My place, but yeah, exactly. It's like I like having a little Nathan Drake statue that falls over and because it's kind of janky. But,
yeah, that the Uncharted 3, right? That you're talking about?
Yeah.
I have that one too, and it's like his 1 foot has a tiny little hole for a knob, and it's like. This is terrible. It's because it always falls.
For a character that like his whole thing is like he has really great upper body strength and really good balance and that man just falls over constantly.
Yeah, that little statue.
That little statue.
Yeah, not very secure.
But anyways, it's so it's one of those things that like back in the day, people just didn't think about it. So like they threw away their boxes. They wrote their name in crown or markers or something.
Yeah.
This is Timmy's.
One thing I was always like I never did, and I never wanted to, even when I was younger, because I was like I don't want to ruin this. Was even though my parents threw out like the boxes for like Super Nintendo games, I always kept the manuals because I was like, this
nice.
Teaches me about the games. And I never, ever wrote in the notes section. Like every single manual had a notes section. And every time I saw it,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I was just like, there's no way I'm going to write in this. This is such a nice book. I'm not going to ruin it. Like that, and that was the mentality I had. I was like, I don't want to ruin this nice book. It'd be like if I took like a school textbook and I just started writing it. It's like, well, I'm not going to ruin it because like then I'll get in trouble or something.
Well, every other kid did.
Well, yeah, but I was a goody two shoes.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the only game I ever wrote in the notes section, I think, was probably Mega Man 2. And to be honest, I don't know what happened to that little booklet, but you had all those like ridiculous passwords you had to like, keep so you can get to different bosses.
I would take loose leaf and I would just write.
Yeah.
Like on paper, or like if I had to map out places, like when I played like old Zelda games and like I didn't have a map or something, I would make it. Like I would just draw boxes and be like, all right, this is this board, and just kind of map it out myself.
Yeah. I mean, it's man, I wish I'd kept some of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's a little easier nowadays with like the clamshells for like disc-based games, but yeah, it's man, I wish I'd kept all my boxes. What a stupid kid I was.
I do miss instruction manuals. I really do.
I mean, a lot of times it's it's like beautiful artwork in those things. I wish I kept all that stuff. I do have a bunch of manuals I've collected over the years.
Yeah, I got a few for Super Nintendo. Right. Actually, I should put these pictures online.
Oh yeah, put them on Instagram. Echo Multiplayer, everybody, check them out. I was gonna put them up.
This is where is it? This is one of my favorites. Was the Link to the Past one? Oh, hold on.
Oh yeah, I think I have that one if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I really liked it mainly because like I love like the old artwork. Like
yeah, exactly. It's like the artwork's like the best thing because a lot of times in old games, you don't get much story, and if you do get story, like you don't get much in the way of like world building as far as like seeing these like the characters in like the way the artists are interpreting them and how they want to show them to you. So a lot of times like the manuals will show you artwork you'll never really see in the game in the same way because it's like you're working with like 8-bit pixels or 16-bit sprites or whatever.
And I always like what I loved most about like the especially the 80s and 90s era of Zelda up to A Link to the Past was that like a lot of the artwork was like it looked just like old 80s fantasy, Lord of the Rings, D&D, and I love that. I love that style. Like I'm just looking through the book right now. I love that style of these monsters. Like I thought they were super cool looking. Like I love the look of them. I love the art style is really nice. And yeah, I miss this. I really miss these things in games. Like I got a few of them here, but like, man, I miss the instruction booklets. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. They don't even come with like new games. When you buy a hard copy, you don't even get like an instruction manual anymore. It's like it sucks. It's I miss that stuff. But before we move on, I had one question for you. If there was one game that you could have in like mint perfect condition, like this Super Mario Brothers game, like in the box, this thing's worth like $500,000.
Man.
Like and somebody you could just wish it into existence. It's yours forever. What would that one game be? And I can go first if you need a minute to think about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, mine 100% would be Mega Man 2. That, like I said, when I was a wee lad, that was like, excuse me, I have very very early memories from when I was like literally my first memory ever is like playing Super Mario Brothers. And so when I was like a wee lad, I had like Super Mario Brothers, I had Mega Man 2, and that god awful Ninja Turtles game, and a few others, and man, that game was so hard. That stupid water level.
I still don't believe anyone's ever beaten it.
I've never beaten that water level. That thing is damn near impossible. I mean, they're turtles; they're supposed to be great in the water, but
it's so bad.
But man, Mega Man 2 is like my life back in the day. I would play that game, just so much. I mean, I probably beat that game like 100 times, in the span of like a few years. And, when my mom, gave away our like sold our NES in like a yard sale, I hung on to my, my Mega Man 2. And so I still have it. And it's like, the label on the front's torn off and like, it's seen some love over the years. And, it'd be great to like put that in a case right next to like a mint perfect condition, Mega Man 2, where it's like this one's like, this is mine from when I was like a baby, and this is like my mint perfect condition one.
Right.
This is like what got me into gaming is like Mega Man 2.
Yeah. I mean, I got the. I was gonna say Mega Man X. Like I have this one. This is obviously this isn't the original. They did like a special legacy cartridge for like the 30th anniversary, but I was thinking Mega Man X because that kind of like if I go back in time, that's like the point where it was like, yep, I love this. This is gonna make me love this forever. Like just playing games, like Mega Man X is his favorite game of all time. So sentimentally, I would love to have like a mint sealed copy to hang on my wall. But I was also thinking another game that I loved when I was younger, and I never had a chance to buy it. I only rented it at Blockbuster. Was Chrono Trigger. So like if I would have a sealed copy, because even a not sealed copy, they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, they can get pretty pricey.
Yeah, but like I would love to have a sealed copy of Chrono Trigger, because like when I saw that artwork like at Blockbuster, I was like, oh, is this like a Dragon Ball Z game? And then I took it home and I played. I'm like, this isn't Dragon Ball Z at all, but it's wonderful. I adore this. I love it. So yeah, I have really strong nostalgic feeling for Mega Man X. But I'll say Chrono Trigger as well. I mean, because I fell in love with that game. Like I loved it. I played through it. I rented it multiple times. Where I wish my parents were just like, you know what, we're just gonna buy this because you've rented it like 3 times, so you might as well just have it. But they never did that. But yeah, I mean, those two. But like, if I had FU money, I would the entire Super Nintendo collection. I'd buy every single game. Oh, yeah. Like, I would love that. Like, that's my favorite console of all time. So I want the entire library.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have some FU money to. I mean, $660,000 for a Mario Brothers copy is insane. That is utterly insane.
Yeah,
that's insane. By the way, I was reading, I think it was on that Polygon article, like the dude that bought that the Nintendo PlayStation. There's the guy that started Pets.com.
Oh, really?
It's like I guess he's doing pretty well. He spent $330,000 on a console.
Hey man, good for you.
Yeah.
Make that money, spend it.
Everybody got pets. Everybody got computers. I'm going to combine the two and be a billionaire.
Yeah, good idea is a good idea.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's insane. But let's move on. We're actually shockingly just blowing through our time. I don't know how we're already at 37 minutes.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh jeez.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
So let's move on. But kind of like keeping with sort of the same stuff here a little bit. We're talking about obviously like collecting games and stuff and physical physical games. I kind of want to move on to digital gaming and kind of the life and death of digital gaming, because it's obviously we're moving towards a future at a pretty breakneck pace where everything's kind of going digital, a lot of it streaming. I think eventually, once internet speeds kind of catch up to like the desires of companies, everybody's going to do like a Netflix style service for video games where it's like you don't own any of this stuff, you just stream it, and or you can download it onto like a physical drive and keep it that way. And I think that's how all these companies want to eventually go. I mean, we're already seeing it. And it's like, if for you dear watchers and listeners out there, if you listened to our show last week, I mean, companies have been trying to do this since the 80s. The little, like mid 80s, people are like, how can we stream games to people instead of doing like physical copies? I mean, people have been trying to figure it out since video games basically were a thing. And, it's eventually we'll get there, who knows how long that's actually going to take. Could be 10 years, could be 50, but I think sooner rather than later, in my opinion anyways, we'll move to an all digital future for video games. But we get to a point where gaming preservation is already like a tricky beast, because it's what a weird art form. I kind of, some people better than me have said this, and basically I've put this in better words in the past, but it's just like it's like a medium all its own. It's like, first of all, it's like a medium that pushes back. It's an art form that pushes back. It's just like, you want to see the end of this game, gotta beat this boss. Like what other art form is like that?
It's true.
If you want to go look at like a painting, like, oh, let me go look at this Da Vinci painting or whatever, and it's just like, nah, you gotta fight this boss.
It's true. TV show, movies, you can skip to the end. you can skip and move around and watch it how you please, and can't do that with game.
Yeah, and kind of same thing with like a lot of gaming's weird in another way, which is like you need like certain type of tech to even experience it. It's you can't like a movie. You can pretty easily like find a way to watch a movie, whether that's like you download a copy online or you find a VHS of it, a film reel of it, whatever. It's like chances are like if you want to watch a specific movie, there's like a way out there you can watch it. Or like and books and stuff, and it's all kind of the same way. It's like chances are you could find a copy of something and watch it or read it or whatever. But video games are in this weird space where some games you can just never play again, and that's just that. There's a lot of games out there that are like online only, digital only games that once they're gone, they're just gone. We're getting so basically March 31st, which is a few days ago, while we're recording this, Nintendo was like, hey, Mario 35, Super Mario 35, which is their little like battle royale, it's no longer a thing. It's gone now. Forever. It's just gone.
Yeah.
You can never play that game again. There's not a hard copy release of it. It was just an online game, and it's just gone. There's videos out there you can watch of it, but other than that, you'll never be able to play that game again. And how do you preserve that?
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it's games like that where, I mean, and digital release only titles in general, where if you're not able to download it or you never got a chance to experience it, you're just kind of SOL. It's like there's nothing you can do, and that's what's scary about the future. And it's going towards a digital only, and I get that, and it's cheaper for business, and it's less waste, less production costs. I totally get all that, but it's just scary to think of like you don't ever really own something. It's, and I've said this before, but like it happened to a friend of mine who he was playing on, I think it was Game Pass. He was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and then one day it just wasn't there. And he was like, well, I was playing it through the middle of that. Like, why can't I play it anymore? And I was just like, sorry, it's just not there anymore. And I think they've put it back since then, but it's just like, it's that idea of like, if you're going to be streaming games or renting your games, it's like, well then, you better finish it, or you better experience it as much as you can, because there's no guarantee it'll be there tomorrow. And like, yeah, it's scary. It honestly, like, I would hate that. I would hate to not feel in control of what what's mine. It's like, if I'm paying for this, I want it, and I want it readily available. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of along the sort of the reason I brought this up was for a few reasons, like Super Mario Brothers 35, that's disappearing. Same thing with the Mario 3D All Stars.
Yeah,
that's gone. As far as like the eShop goes, you could still find like physical copies of that game like in Target or wherever. But yeah, digital versions gone. And then Sony announced that they're totally removing the stores for the PS3. The PSP, the store's actually been gone for a minute, but you could still, at least through the PSP itself, but you could still download things on like your PS3,
right,
your PC and stuff, and then like transfer it to your PSP. But like, yeah, PSP store gone, Vita store gone, and so there are games that are just on those on those consoles that are download only, and you can't play any other way. And it's just kind of a bummer that it's just kind of like that. There's there are games that I played for the PS3 that were download only, digital games that were like fantastic. One that kind of comes to mind is Fat Princess, which I wish that they would do a sequel to Fat Princess. And while I'm talking, maybe you can pull up the dev, because I can't recall the dev off the top of my head. But man, that game was so good back in the day. If you've never played it, and I know you haven't.
No.
It was basically like, so you have these
Titan Studios.
Yeah, Titan Studios. I don't know. What are they up to these days? Are they still
I
around?
don't know. Let's see.
Yeah. See if they're doing something. But basically, you had you had these like sort of like isometric, almost like top down sort of view, and you're playing like these. You can play a couple different roles. You can play like a mage or like a ranger, and like all these like different characters. And basically, you have to go to. You're trying to like get into the base of the other team. There's like two teams, and you're trying to get into the base of the other team and capture their princess. And it's kind of like capture the flag, but you're capturing a princess. But a way to like prevent the other team from capturing your princess is to like continue to like shovel cake into her mouth and fatten her up.
Nice.
And the fatter she is, the harder it is to move her. So, hence fat princess.
That's
so
awesome.
You just had these like, these like wizards and rangers and stuff just trying to move this big old fat princess across a map. And just like, she's too fat.
That's awesome.
And man, that game was so much fun, but it's like a PS3 exclusive. I think they made some sort of off, or like a spin-off game, which we'll actually get to in a minute. Spin-off game for PS Vita, I think. But yeah, that's like a PS3 only game, digital only game, and it's an online only game. So there's really no way to play that game anymore, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah. By the way, Titan Studios, it says that they were formed by Epic Games China in November 2008, and they were disestablished in June 2011 and were succeeded by Carbon Games and Fun Bits. So they were really only around for that Fat Princess game, and then they were just kind of
interesting.
I guess I don't know, they were dissolved.
They're just gone.
Yeah.
But I know that's like a Sony owned game, I believe, or because it's a
Sony published,
part owned or something. Yeah,
Sony published it for sure.
Yeah, so there's just games like that where it's like, man, it's just a bummer. Like you can go and watch video of it, but like you can't experience it firsthand. Like we can't go and jump into a match right now.
Yeah.
And be like, look at this zany game. This game is so silly.
Yeah, and I was telling you before we played that, like, or before we started the podcast, that like, the PS3 online era, for me, I kind of missed that party. Like my online experience really started with the PS4 generation, and that's just because of like I didn't catch up to high speed internet for a long time, and PS3 was kind of just like a PS2 for me, whereas like I just bought games at GameStop and I played them at home and it was super fun. I played a lot of single player stuff and I never really played online games. But something that always comes to mind when it comes to something that you'll never experience again, that no one will, is PT. And like my friend downloaded that on his PlayStation, and he literally brought over his PlayStation to show it to me and my friends, and it was incredible. It was super cool and like super scary, but like they took that off the store, and it's like now you can't get that anywhere. Like you can't experience that, unless you like look it up on YouTube or something. But like that's something that you'll never probably ever see again. Like you'll never be able to have,
Yeah. Yeah, so it's tricky, like game preservation in general is tricky. I was reading an article, and I wish I could remember where I was reading it. But they brought up an idea that I think is good on paper, but it's like it's difficult in practice, which is just like once a game is developed, and maybe after 5 years or 10 years or something, it's just like a rule that you have to take that game and upload your code to like this like gaming preservation company, and it's like all they do is just like they hang on to like code for old games. And it's
there is a non-profit that does preservation, but I forget what they're called.
Yeah, it's there's a few different companies that do it, most of them non-profit as well, but obviously it's like there's companies, they don't want to give up their code. It's like Nintendo.
Oh God.
They've probably made I would hate to imagine how much money they've made off the original Super Mario Brothers. But it's like I doubt they would ever physically hand that code over to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like that's their property. You know, they made that thing.
With how much they
And
come
it's
down
like-
on ROMs as well, like emulation and ROMs, even
Yeah.
like putting stuff on YouTube, they're very uptight about it.
Yeah, and you know, it's just like it's a big old bummer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a good thing and a bad thing. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, the company made this art. It's their art. They
Sure.
should be allowed to do what they want with it. But at the same time, it's like, you know, there are a lot of things that just get lost to history, and it's a big bummer. I was just reading something the other day about like Ninja Gaiden Black. Like that code's just gone. They lost it. They don't know
Wow.
what happened to it, and it's just like you could never like they I guess they're releasing a remaster of Ninja Gaiden Sigma Black or Black Sigma or something like that because they just don't have the original code for Ninja Gaiden Black anymore.
That's
It's
nuts.
just lost. It's just gone
That's
now. It's like, oh
nuts.
well. It's like,
I mean, look at
man,
Star
like-
Fox 2, right? Like Star Fox 2 was rumored and like never saw the light of day. And then SNES Classic came out and they're like, guess what? We're releasing it.
Yeah.
And so like that's super cool. It's like, man, you should do that more often. Like, you know, it
Yeah,
like
100%.
Mega Man Legends 3. I
my God,
know it
that's
exists. It's in a vault somewhere and I know it's real. And it's like, give me like, why won't you give us that? Like, I know it's real. Everyone knows it's real. You made it. And then you just said, nah, I'm just not going to give it to anybody. It's like, it's right there.
I would love a new Mega Man
Yeah,
Legends game.
dude.
I would love it.
Me too.
Well, you know what? That's actually a great segue. So I was gonna get into a little bit of what we've been playing. We're running low on time. Do you want to quickly talk about what you've been playing, or you just want to move on?
Real quick, because if we're gonna go to the spin-off games, I've been playing a spin-off game, so I won't say that. But other than that, I've been replaying the Arkham series, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like I forgot how much fun it is. Like it's really because I watched the Zack Snyder Justice League when it came out like not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I feel like playing Batman again. And I played through Arkham City. It's weird. I started with Arkham City and now I'm playing through Arkham Asylum. But man, so good. I love those games.
Yeah. I love those two games as well, and ignored the third one. I guess the fourth one, considering or depending on like how you want to
For sure.
But kind of speaking of spin-off games like Mega Man Legends, like just you brought up this idea for this topic, and I was like, that's pretty great. Let me steal that and pretend I came up with it. But there's, I mean, spin-off games. Obviously, that's a big thing within video games. It's like taking a franchise and doing something kind of different with it, but using the name, hoping to, find some more luck with people buying your properties, your IPs, and I mean, like things like Mega Man Legends. That's a perfect example of a spinoff.
Yeah.
I mean, even Mega Man X.
Oh,
Mega Man X is a
yeah,
spinoff
yeah.
of Mega Man, and
Mega Man Soccer.
I think both those. Mega Man Soccer.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. It's kind of a fun game.
Yeah. I mean, kind of all the soccer games. Man, Mario Strikers is such a good soccer game. And obviously a spinoff series. Man, I love Mario Strikers games. The game's dope.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of just go over some like spin-offs that you like.
Sure.
There are a few that come to mind that you love.
Yeah.
And we can kind of go back and forth here.
Yeah. I mean, you already said like Mega Man X, Mega Man Legends. Like I love those two franchises. Like they're so great. I guess technically Super Mario Brothers is a spin-off, right? Of Donkey Kong? Technically?
Yeah, so I was gonna kind of save that for last.
Oh, okay.
So you've ruined it, but So if you wanna, if we're talking like best spin-off game of all time, it has to go to Mario Brothers.
Well, for sure.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Which is also a spin-off of
Mario Brothers.
'cause
Yeah.
Basically, you had Donkey Kong. You got Donkey Kong, and we got Jumpman in there, and then they came out with Mario Brothers. and then which is like that arcade kind of versus game where you're
Yeah.
like throwing turtles at each other. They introduced Luigi, and Mario. They even had that game Wrecking Crew,
Mm-hmm.
and then they made Super Mario Brothers, and that's kind of like the series. I mean, it really took off into its own thing,
Yeah.
and man, it's just kind of crazy. It's that's like if it's kind of weird to think of Super Mario Brothers as a spin-off series, but it is. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of one of
Technically.
the first spin-off series.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess besides like one of my favorites I remember playing when I was younger, for the Game Boy was Super Mario Land 3, which is Wario Land. You plays Wario.
Oh,
You
yeah.
plays Wario, and I loved it. Like I was like, because I'd always heard of him, and like I was like, well, who is this guy? Like he's just a weirder fat Mario, and he's just like bad. He's like, because I remember you have to stop him in Super Mario Land 2. I think you have to stop him, and
Yeah.
like, but then you play as him, and I'm like, is he a bad guy? Like who is this guy? Like is he just mean to Mario? Like he just takes his money. Like he's just a school bully. He just takes Mario's lunch money, and you have to beat him up. But I really liked Wario Land. I love like the mechanics of it. You got his little charging arm attack, and it's all about just making money. Like that whole game, he just wants to be rich, and he's just like
Yeah.
taking like as much money as possible. And I loved it. I was like, I also love that it's like it's different because I don't think you can necessarily die. Like there's no Goomba that hits you and you die. Like I don't think,
Right.
if I remember correctly, like you don't really die in that game. It's just kind of, you're just this big beast of a Italian man collecting money. But I really love that one. I thought that one was great. And one that I've been playing this past week,
Mm-hmm.
the Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy. I don't know if you ever played that, but it is super fun. I
haven't played
it's
it.
way more fun than it should be. Like it's because it's just the Pokemon trading card game, right? But it's just
Right.
it's just really fun. Like you're going there are like gyms that you have to go to on this little island, and you can duel different people, and you can build your own deck. And when you defeat people, you get booster packs, and you get more and more cards, so you can customize your deck and build it. And then they have exclusive cards for that game that like weren't released in real life, but like they just made their own versions in the game. And yeah, it's just it's all about, I think the point of the game is like you collect the legendary cards or whatever, but it's really fun. It's one of my I love it. Like in a franchise that's all about like that Pokemon is super famous for, like Pokemon trading card game, they're only ever released that one, and I'm kind of surprised that there hasn't been another one. But man, it's super fun. I love it. It's dueling people, and like the little animations of like battling people. It's just really great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of cap off this conversation with like just about any Nintendo spinoff. It's just fantastic. Like they just do such a. I mean, Mario Kart, that's a spinoff.
That's true.
All the sports games are basically spinoffs. Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium, all spin-off games.
Yeah.
Like Donkey Kong Country. I mean, freaking amazing spin-off.
Yeah, it is.
Man, I love Donkey Kong Country.
Is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island technically a spin-off? Because you're not playing as Mario, it's a Yoshi game.
Yeah, I mean, I would put it in that
like
category.
it's not technically a sequel. It's just a different game, really. It's a Yoshi game.
Yeah. And it's just I mean, Nintendo just has like so many like interesting spin-offs, and
yeah, that's true. I never thought of it, but they really do.
Yeah, Kirby has a crap ton.
Oh yeah.
Like Metroid Prime is technically like a spin-off of Metroid.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, Smash Brothers is like, that's like the ultimate spin-off for like every video game character.
Is that
ever.
really a spin-off though? Like, I wouldn't say that's a spin-off. Like, that's its own franchise. It's a series.
Yeah, it's like I would put it in the category of like a loose spin-off, because it's like,
I guess. But then you could say, couldn't you say that like Mortal Kombat? Because they have like characters from like the Predator and Alien. Kratos was in MK9.
Sure.
Or like,
but yeah, it's but yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like spinoffs are great. So everybody keep making them.
Yeah, oh, for sure, for sure. I love it. Can you think of any outside of Nintendo? 'Cause I don't know if I can.
Off top of my head, let me think for a second.
I've got one.
Well, we were just talking about that Ape Escape RPG. For
Oh,
the PSP.
Ape Quest.
That's a spinoff. Ape Quest for the PSP.
You never played it.
I never played that. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, me either.
That was new to me. Oh, actually, I have a great one. This is probably this is just as big as like Super Mario Bros. In a lot of ways.
Okay.
World of Warcraft is a freaking huge spinoff of Warcraft.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
Very
they took a strategy RPG and made it a MMO.
Yeah. No, you're right.
That's kind of wild.
That's massive.
Man.
That's true.
That's a huge game.
That's true. I was gonna say Crash Team Racing because
that's fun.
I still like it more than Mario Kart 64. I know, but I personally I like it more. I love that game.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good one. And there's also things like they did a bunch of spinoffs with Halo, with Halo Wars and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
There's there's stuff out there for sure.
Is Kingdom Hearts a spinoff of Final Fantasy?
I wouldn't put it in. Well,
it's got Final Fantasy characters in it.
It's a soft spinoff.
It's just what's his name's in it? Who's the bad guy again? Sephiroth. He's in it. Cloud's in it. Yep. Yuffie. All of them. All those Final Fantasy people are in it.
Yeah. You've also had like Resident Evil has had a crap ton of spinoffs.
Oh, that makes me. Yeah, I actually recently was playing Resident Evil Gaiden, the Game Boy game.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's an emulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, how did you get?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, no. I've been my 3DS a long time ago. I just filled it with because I wanted to check out all of the Game Boy games that I never played or Game Boy Advance games, and so I tried Resident Evil Gaiden. It's actually more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's one I've always wanted to try and I never have. But once again, video game preservation.
Yeah, really.
It's good luck trying to find that outside of an emulation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous. Okay, let's move on because we're basically out of time. But I want to do some You Nintendo Don't Know Jack before we go.
We need a theme song.
You Nintendo don't know Jack.
I meant more like a game show, less than a 20s jazz bar.
For the people out there that don't know this game, every week, or I try and do it every week. I ask have some silly questions from the Mario quiz cards from Atlas.
Yeah.
These are legit, official Nintendo quiz cards from 1995 that talk about a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah,
from different...
nothing related to Nintendo or Mario. Just it's real world facts, but Mario is on the cover.
Yep, and I try and stump Hav with these hard-hitting nonsense questions. Yep. They're all so silly.
One of my favorite ones was kites were invented in Asia. Just Asia. Just all of Asia just invented kites at one point in time.
It's maybe narrow that down a little bit. 1995.
Nope, just Asia.
So ridiculous. Okay, so your first question today comes from the category land transportation.
Okay.
By the way, I got you some good hard hitting ones this week.
I like
good
it.
Nonsense.
I like it.
All right, Hav, when was the first bicycle built? And was it 1620, 1790, or 1839?
Bicycle. I'm gonna say the 1700s one, the middle.
1790.
1790.
All right, and let's take a look here. Ooh, looks like the first true bicycle was built in 1839. So
close.
Some people think the bike was invented in 1790, but that was a two-wheeled push bike that you walked like a hobby horse. The real bicycle didn't come along for almost 50 years. And actually they show some of these like really stupid bikes. I've seen pictures of these things too. So like this stuff's from like the 1700s. And it's basically a bike with no like pedal apparatus. You're just like walking.
What's the point?
And it's like, exactly. It's like, what's the point of this thing? It's like so stupid.
Do you ever want to just make walking a little more difficult? Walk on this.
Like, do you just basically want like a wheeled horse where you're doing all the work?
That's pretty dumb.
So dumb. But I do like the picture on the front, which is of
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, like a little Mario on. I can't remember what these bikes are called.
I don't know either.
It's the one with the giant wheel in the front and the baby wheel in the back.
Yeah, I don't know what. I have no idea what that thing's called. I don't even know how you get on that thing, but yeah.
Yeah, which also, like, who's this for? Like, just make the wheels the same size.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do like that Mario's on it. It's funny.
Yeah, I think I was in downtown LA once, and I saw somebody riding a big wheeled bike like this once. And I was like, sometimes I hate this place. It's like you're just doing that for attention.
It's like you walking on the Venice boardwalk and it's like, I hate you.
Yeah. Even that man had like the handlebar mustache and everything. It's like, you're just the worst.
Maybe he had this quiz card set and he was like, I'm going to be like Mario.
Maybe. All right. So I have another good one for you. All right. This comes from the category domestic animals.
Okay.
Hav, how many eggs does a hen lay per year? Is it between 100 and 120, between 150 and 200, or 365 eggs on the dot?
One per day.
One a day, every day of the year. That hen be a laying.
That's funny. I feel like that's not right.
It doesn't sound very right.
I'll go with the first one. The least amount, least amount.
All right, between 100 and 120.
Yeah.
Let's take a peek. Ooh, another wrong answer for Hav. A hen lays from 150 to 200 eggs per year.
That's a lot.
Chickens, I like this. Chickens are birds. And like other birds, they lay eggs. Some female chickens, hens, are raised specifically to produce eggs for human consumption. But yeah, I guess it's between 150 and 200 eggs.
That's a lot.
And chickens are birds. And birds lay eggs.
Hey man, that's good to know. Chickens are birds and birds lay eggs. Is Birdo on the cover of that one?
Oh, he's not. You would think he would be, but it's just Luigi looking at a chicken with a bunch of eggs, and that chicken has like a smug look on his face for some reason.
Luigi looks really surprised, and the bird looks like, "What are you looking at?" I lay eggs. I'm a bird.
What else? What else do you want from me? Oh man. I had
0 for
one
2
more for you. Yeah, I had one more for you. I hope I can remember how to pronounce this. Apologies for the people out there. I looked it up last week and I didn't look it up again before the show, but let me see if I can do right by everyone out there. So Hav, this comes from the category geography.
Okay.
Hav, which is the world's driest desert? Is it the Mojave, the Gobi, or the Namib?
Namib. I think it's the Gobi. I think.
All right, you're going with Gobi.
I think it's Gobi.
All right, let's take a look and no, the Namib is the world's driest desert. Africa's Namib Desert is the world's driest. It's located in Namibia, formerly called Southwest Africa. And once again, for everybody out there, apologies if I'm just butchering that. It's I did look it up last week. I hope it's Namib, and I think it is.
Man,
Told you I gave you some
the Namibian desert.
I gave you some difficult ones this week.
I feel like that, man. Is that like down the street from the Gobi Desert? Really close by.
Down the street. Let's see here. I'm not seeing it down the street here on this little map. I think Jerry could hear me from the other room. Now, Namibia.
Namibia.
No, Namiba.
Amoeba.
Namiba.
Man.
It's like almost like Amiibo, but Namiba.
Yeah, Namiba. That's, man,
So.
dang. What's on the cover of that one? Is it Mario in a desert?
Yeah, this one's pretty hilarious. It's Luigi and Mario standing in the desert, like, you know,
No water today.
no water, just really in a bad situation.
Yeah, really.
They might die.
Oh man, 0 for 3. Man, you got me.
Yeah.
I
sure
Nintendo don't know Jack.
You sure don't. Okay, that is our show, everybody. I think I still butchered that. Jerry's like texting me things, so apologies, everyone. Look up the pronunciation on your own.
Namib, huh?
Namib.
Namib.
All right, well, you can look it up real quick while I'm closing out the show. But thank you, everybody, for checking us out this week. We went long somehow. You know, I'm surprised. But, yeah, we really just blew through time. But thank you so much for listening, everyone. Of course, you can check us out at youtube.com/multiplayer. You can check us out at Go Multiplayer on Instagram, where we're Hav's going to post some pictures of manuals.
Oh, yeah. I'll do that.
Yeah. You can also find Hav at Loverboy_Hav, and you can find me at ZachMatzGanis, that's ZACKMATZGANIS. And of course, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer, which I need to start saying at the top of the show as well, so everybody knows. But you know, it's over there. You could throw us like $1 or $2 a month if you like what we do, like the silly things that we say and the bad pronunciation of words. Hav, did you find it?
I mean, I found it. I just don't know how to pronounce it.
Go for it.
I mean, it's just like, well, there's no, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just finding the word. Like it's Namib? I'm not sure.
Namib is what we're going with. Sorry, everybody. Whoops. But thank you.
Namib. I don't know. Apologies to the Namibian audience. I if that is how you say it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you know, we're a video game show, not a geography show.
Very true.
So please just forgive us on that. We love you anyways. And you know, that's kind of our motto over here. Hav, what is it again?
Oh, it's love everyone. We love you.
Love everyone?
No, we love you, and you should love you too.
And love everyone around you.
That's right.
You know, be nice to people in the world.
Happy Easter.
Be good to.
Let's all.
Oh yeah, happy Easter.
Yeah, let's all love everybody.
Oh yeah, that's the motto of Easter.
That's what
right
Easter's all about. Just love everybody.
All right, we will see everyone next week. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. We here at Multiplayer would like to give a huge special thank you to Kevin Hopkins, William Euchre, and the rest of our amazing Patreon community. If you'd like to support our podcast and get a shout out at the end of each show, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer. See you next time, players. We love ya!